I've got to go overseas because nobody in Britain wants to fight me. There's been plenty of opponents mentioned. I said yes to them all. I'm a very high risk, low reward. I'm coming off 2 losses. Believe it or not, I genuinely just ran my own race. I didn't try and beat anybody, or I didn't try and race it. I just ran my own race, took all in my own stride. I enjoyed it, and obviously I ran like a 1-2-4. Got the bug now. I want to do another because I loved every minute of it. The atmosphere was unbelievable. If I'm not boxing, I haven't got no dates. I'll be going for a sub 120 next. I'll give anybody a hard night's work at 160. So this Jahi Tucker in Las Vegas, April the 5th. Better be ready. I'm Troy Williamson. I'm a professional boxer campaigning at middleweight, and I'm looking to get the ball rolling April the 5th, and I'm coming to take over at 160.
So let's go all the way back, mate, because we're predominantly a running podcast, which we'll get into in the future.
Yeah.
But I want to get a bit of background to you and your kind of life in boxing. When did you first lace up a pair of gloves, and how did boxing become a thing in your life?
Obviously, my dad's always watched boxing, so I've always been around boxing. Going to the gyms even when I wasn't training. I went to the gym when I was 10 years old. Started doing a bit of training, but back then I was too young to compete, and my dad just took me down there to learn how to put my hands up for myself and stick for myself. But obviously, I love the sport. But like I said, I was too young to compete, and I was getting flung in with the kids that were ready to fight, and I were fighting, and I was getting flung in with spars, and I wasn't doing too good, and I was just enough of my confidence in it. I didn't enjoy it, so I left boxing, went and played football. From the age of 11 up until 16, and then a boxing club opened up around the corner for me. I went in there, give it a go, and we're here today. Stuck at it ever since. I went in when I was 16-year-old, turned 17 3 months later, and I had my first amateur fight. So I was only really in the gym for 3 months before I put a pair of gloves on.
It must feel like, you obviously have been at it pretty much for your entire life. Does it feel like that? Do you still love the game, or has it over the years got a little bit tiring?
Yeah, obviously it's tiring. It's very, very tiring as well. Obviously, you've got pretty much no social life. You don't go out with your friends, don't go out clubbing, drinking. Can't eat what you want to eat sometimes, and you got to sacrifice a hell of a lot. I missed my sister's wedding for one in Cyprus. I was boxing in the ABA final. I've missed numerous birthdays. Missed a Mother's Day, my missus' birthday, loads of things. That was just because I was away training or I was away fighting. So it is very tiring, and it's very stressful as well.
Do you have to remind yourself that it's worth it from time to time?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, I've got a young family now, so I've got a little son. He's 18 months old. So, like, I know I've got even more drive now to succeed, to pave the path for him.
I was going to say, has that changed the game for you a little bit? Does it make you feel? Yeah, I mean, how has it changed? How do you feel like now fighting for not only yourself and your family, but for him as well?
Yeah, it feels obviously I'm very humbled, and I'm a really, really hard worker. But I work extra hard now, especially I've got my son who's gonna eventually grow up and look up to me. Obviously, by the time he's grown up, I'll be out the game. Obviously, he's always gonna be able to look back at myself and see what I've achieved. So obviously, it'd be great to achieve something, and yeah, like I said, lead the way for him.
How do you look back at the things you've achieved to this point? Because you've had some big fights, you've had some big wins. Do you look back fondly now, or does it feel like you're not done in any facet at this point?
Nah, obviously, I have achieved great things. I've become a British champion. For every British boxer's dream is to become a British champion. So I've achieved a hell of a lot. But yeah, I'm nowhere near done yet. So that's just in the past. Don't really buzz over it. I know a lot of people do say, "Oh, you should be proud of yourself," but I'm not done yet. And until I'm finished and I hang the gloves up, then I'll look back and I'll really assess it then. But for now, I've got plenty more goals that I want to achieve.
You mentioned a moment ago, it was kind of an off the hand comment, but you said, sometimes you can't eat what you want, you can't do this, you can't go out with your friends, you can't do this sort of thing. And obviously, a lot of that is the sacrifice that you have as an athlete. But one thing that boxing has that a lot of other sports don't have is that kind of weight requirement to it as well. And I know you're going up to a new weight class in your next fight. Just talk a little bit about how weight does affect fighters.
Oh, it affects me massively well. I've just finished training. I've just come home and I've just had a fillet steak and salad. Like, there's a lot more food that I would rather be eating than having a fillet steak with salad.
Yeah,
So,
I can imagine.
yeah, obviously the weight is a massive factor. A lot of people get it into their head to think, right, I'm going to be like myself. I'm not guilty of it. I was like, if I make 11 stone, I'm massive for 11 stone. I'll be too big for my opponents. Size is a big thing, but it's not really. Like, being bigger doesn't mean that you're going to go and win. It's been proven by myself. So obviously, at the time when I won the British title against Ted Cheeseman, I was making weight comfortable, and I felt super strong. Felt like I could take on the world. Then that was when October 2021. I've had my first defense in March 22, and just from October to March, like I just obviously just struggled with the weight. Obviously, I made the weight against Mason Cartwright. That was the first. It was a very tough fight. First time I hit the canvas, got put down, so I had to overcome a lot of adversity, get up and finish the fight, and obviously I won it by unanimous decision. So, but yeah, that was probably a telling point where I should have thought, like, I got put down by a shot that I shouldn't really got put down with. No discredit to Mason Cartwright, he's a great fighter, but I should never got put down by that punch, and that should have been a telling point for me to move up. But because I made the weight, I didn't move up. I kept on making the weight, and because I kept on making 11 stone, I stayed at the weight. Obviously, unfortunately, until I failed the weight again in my last fight against Ishmael Davis. So really, I should have really moved up way back then. So I should have moved up like 3 or 4 fights ago. But obviously, I didn't. Like you say, it's shoulda, woulda, coulda. I shouldn't have done, but I didn't. So yeah, weighing out, I've eventually moved up. It's been a long time coming, and I'm ready to rock and roll and show everybody that there's still plenty of life left in Troy Williamson.
I was on your Twitter account, just having a little look at before we have this conversation, and I think you posted a couple of days ago, looking strong, looking lean. Like, how do you feel at this weight? Do you feel stronger? Do you feel like a little bit more, just better, I guess, overall in your health?
Yeah, I feel very, very good. I feel like a completely different fire.
Yeah.
Like, punch power's back. My fitness is obviously, it's never been a problem with fitness, but when I was making 11 stone, obviously I lost all that snap. Stopped knocking people out, but yeah, now my power's back, my strength's there. Fitness is obviously second to none, and I'm looking forward to getting in there. I'm looking forward to getting in there 2 weeks and really showing everybody how much of a change fighter I am at a different weight class.
For everybody that's just listening to this and not watching it, when you were describing how you're feeling right there, Troy, that smile on your face, because
Yeah. Unbelievable. I feel very, very good.
it must be kind of enlightening and eye-opening when you have kind of been depleting yourself for so long, and then you get back to a weight class that maybe you're suited at for the time in your career, when you're actually in the gym and when you're hitting pads and when you're sparring and when you're in your fitness sessions, to feel like you felt probably 10 years ago. It must feel quite like a factory reset almost.
Yeah, it does. That's exactly what it feels like. I feel like how I felt 10 years ago. I should have been. Like I said, keep saying I should have probably been a middleweight a long time ago. But the opportunity kept on coming up, and because I kept on making a weight, I stayed at it too long. But yeah, like I said, there's still plenty of life left, and still plenty of big fights at middleweight to be made. So looking forward to getting the ball rolling April the 5th.
I know you almost wanted to fight before this point, and stepping up. I watched an interview and you were talking about the fact that it doesn't really do anything for anybody to take you at middleweight because you're stepping up to that weight class. Would you have fought before now? And I guess a word on your opponent on April the 5th as well.
Yeah, I was looking at getting out in October.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'd done a full 10-week training camp for that, but then the show fell through a week before. I don't know why. Still no explanation to why that show fell through, but it did. But yeah, I've always stayed in the gym. I've always ticked over a pretty decent level. So obviously, I've always been fit. Weight's never really been an issue. So when this fight came up 6 weeks ago, I jumped at the chance because I've got to go abroad. I've got to go overseas because nobody in Britain wants to fight me. There've been plenty of opponents mentioned. I've said yes to them all, but I'm a very high risk, low reward. I'm coming off 2 losses. I've moved to middleweight. They all know that I'm going to be a different fighter at middleweight, and they can't really risk taking a loss against me. So nobody wants to fight. So I've got to go overseas and fight. But I'm very confident in doing that. I'll give anybody a hard night to work at 160. So this Jahi Tucker in Las Vegas, April the 5th. Better be ready.
What's the game like now, Troy, compared to when you came in? When you started this, is it all about the promotion? Is it all about the personalities now, or is it still about what boxing is supposed to be about, letting the fists do the talking?
Yeah, it has changed up since that Turkey Al Sheikh has got involved. Yeah, it's more probably personality. But to be fair, he does like his fighters. I think if he does see me fight, I think he'll like my style. So hopefully he's got his eyes glued to that TV. April 5th, they're getting on one of the big Saudi shows.
It was interesting there when you mentioned, that show falling through in October. I think sometimes people don't think about the implications of that for somebody like yourself, for somebody that's paid for a whole training camp, for somebody that is kind of waiting on that paycheck or, waiting on that fight. How do you have to kind of deal with situations like that when situations fall through? Because that's something you were waiting for, right? You were excited for. That's your livelihood.
Yeah, exactly. Like I only get paid when I box. It's very, very frustrating more than anything because I've just put myself through hell for a 10-week camp, sacrificed a lot, missed birthdays, missed Mother's Days. I haven't done nothing with my family for a while, and then you get told like I was laid in bed. I remember when it was. It was a Sunday night. I was laid in bed about 10 o'clock. I got a WhatsApp message saying the show's off. I was meant to be boxing in 6 days. I feel like going downstairs and just eating a load of crap. Like me, it's frustrating more than anything else. I lived the life. I put my soul into boxing, so live and breathe boxing. Train twice a day for 10 weeks, and then for that to happen, no expenses are paid. So whatever I've paid, travel, sparring equipment, nutrition, it's a loss at the end of the day.
What do you do in those moments, mate, when you're 6 weeks, 7 weeks, 8 weeks deep into a camp, when things are, I know it's tough every day, but when you're really at the grindstone of it, how do you tell yourself and how do you keep pushing through those difficult days?
Just it's in me to do that. To be fair, Jersey pure grit and determination. I was tired today when I went to the gym, but you get these days coming up to the back end of the week. Train twice a day all week, sparring hard, training hard, your diet and so your food's low. But these are the sessions that make champions, so you've got to get through them.
Has running always been part of your schedule then? Let's get onto that because you joined us recently in Middlesbrough, and we'll get onto that race itself in a sec. But has that always been part of your fitness schedule? Obviously, running and boxing tend to go hand in hand, but has it always been part of your schedule?
Yeah, I don't mind running when I'm fit. When you're unfit, it's horrible, but I don't mind running when I'm fit. I always try and beat my time, so I'm not a bad runner for a boxer, if that makes sense. Like some boxers, I know that like aren't very good runners, but yeah, I'm not a bad long distance runner. I used to be more of a sprinter when I was in school when I was a teenager, but now Anything over 4 or 5 mile, I'm pretty decent.
Yeah, I'd say that your opponent on April 5th is probably looking at not wanting to go into the later rounds with you in terms of the fact you've just run a 124 something, 124 low half, wasn't it? And in Middlesbrough, and my favourite thing about that was when you posted about it and you said, yeah, that was just steady, which is unreal at that pace because you were clipping along on the day.
Yeah, well, do you know what it was? If you look, obviously, I wear the heart rate monitor,
Yeah,
obviously, as well as me Garmin watch. And obviously, I posted my stats. Look at my average heart rate. My average heart rate was 140.
yeah,
I tell you, to be completely honest, all week I thought, because the mum was on a Sunday. Obviously, I'm straight back in the gym Monday, spar on Tuesday. So I just thought, like, I really wanted to race it. I genuinely wanted to go there and race it. But then I thought, I had it in my head all week, I'm going to take it in my stride. I'm going to run my own race. I'm not going to try and race. I'm not going to try and run it quick. When I got there, I had a good warm up. And when we set off, believe it or not, I genuinely just ran my own race. I didn't try and beat anybody, or I didn't try and race it. I just ran my own race, took it all in my own stride. I enjoyed it. And obviously I ran like a 124. I wanted to. I did want to do a sub 130. I'd have been happy. So yeah, I think I've definitely got plenty of time for the next one. I've got the bug now. I want to do another because I loved every minute of it. The atmosphere was unbelievable. Yeah, I'll be going for like if I'm not boxing, I haven't got no dates. I'll be going for a sub 120 next.
yeah. I think with the average heart rate just at 140, I think 120 is there all day. I mean, yeah, mate. You're gonna be. I think you're gonna be in a position, aren't you? Like to get well below that one day if you want to. I think it's just like you say when you're in camp and stuff like that. The amount of fatigue that you're going to be under to be in
No,
those races as well. It's
that's exactly what it was. Been like fatigue, like my legs, my hamstrings. I done legs a few days before, so when I turn up, I thought, yeah, hamstrings are killing me. I was like dead. Like I thought I was gonna do, I don't know, 135 or something, and I probably wouldn't have been happy with that. Even though I did say I was gonna go and just run my own race, I was just gonna go there and burn calories, get a bit of weight off. Both hamstrings were tight as anything. So I would look at my watch, and every kilometer was like 4 minutes. I think it was C58, 401. I felt like I was cruising.
yeah. It's a
Yeah,
nice position to be in, isn't it? When you're just ticking off those Ks at a pace like that, and it feels good. It's
yeah.
such a
So
nice kind of flow state, if you will.
definitely, like you say, that was probably one of the most comfortablest runs I've done. If I'm honest, I've done 4 or 5 miles. I haven't felt better than that. I wake up early in the morning, I go outside, headphones, and I just go and run 4 or 5 mile. But I think because I had a very good warm up, I had done a little bit of run just to get warmed. So the blood was flowing, my full body was warm, and then I went and ran obviously that, and didn't really break a sweat really.
I'm excited, mate, to see you win on April 5th and then to see what the next race goal is as well. Do you think when you look back at boxing, when the day comes that you leave that career behind and you close that door, do you always think you'll keep fit in some facet? Will you always run? Will you always, get down the gym and train?
Yeah, definitely. It's what I've done my whole life. I always like to stay in shape. I like to give back. I like to help the kids. So I'll always surround myself with boxing and some sort of fitness. Yeah, I'll always train myself. I'll always run. And obviously I'll still lift weights, do a bit of boxing. Just keeps you young, doesn't it? Keeps you sane.
When you said about helping people then a minute ago, I saw as well on your socials that you'd been down in a school just helping some local kids, just holding some pads for them and stuff. Is stuff like that important to you, kind of giving back to the community and the local community from where you are from?
Yeah, definitely was. I always say, like, be the role model that I want to have when I was a young kid. Um, so yeah, obviously I'd love to help out in any way I can. So giving back to the young kids in boxing when they ask me advice on, even if it's just down to weight, or I've got 2 kilos to lose. Will I lose that in a week? And obviously just helping them and telling them what to eat, what to do. Yeah, it's a nice feeling.
Mindset in running is something a lot of people talk about. Where do you go in those difficult moments when you're in a marathon and you've hit 18, 19 miles or 30k and you want to stop and you think it's done? I think there's probably no better person to talk to about that than a fighter, than a boxer. When you've been on the deck, or you've had a hard round and you're back on that stool and you're getting back up and you're getting into the next round and you're still trying to win that fight. Like, what are you thinking in those moments? Is it kind of is it an automatic thing? Do you think at all, or are you thinking certain things?
It's a hard one, just you just got to believe. You just got to believe in yourself. Obviously, that's one thing I always do. I believe in myself. I know how hard I've trained. I know I can do the rounds. I've done them in the gym, so I don't like I believe in my fitness. See, some fighters they'll probably cruise for 4 or 5 rounds, but they're 4 or 5 rounds down, but then they'll finish 4 or 5 rounds really, really strong. And but by that point they've lost half the fight. So I can start strong and maintain it and then finish strong. As you've probably seen on that one, on that home stretch where I finished strong, just something that I've something that I've got in me. So
That
yeah,
is a
you just believe in yourself.
that is a banger of a photo. That if you haven't seen it, get over to Troy's Instagram. I'll link it in the bio of this. And there's, I think you said, took the poor guy's soul or something like that. Like, full on sprint finish, push through. It looks it looks class. And that's one of those things you just got to do it, don't you? You just got to do it.
Well, you got it. Like, if I was on a home straight, enjoy my run, somebody wouldn't pass me as for. Not today, mate. Still had my legs underneath me and I just pushed on.
Yeah, you flew down that home stretch. Fair play to you. What's next after April 5th, mate? Have you thought about the next thing, or do you take each opponent as it comes?
Just take each opponent as it comes. Get my stuff out of the way. I'll see what runs are on after then. Keep me in shape, and then do a run maybe, and then look to get back out. Hopefully, I'd like to be out June, July after that. Get April 5th out of the way first, and then we'll look forward.
Are there long-term goals at middleweight though? Are there things that you'd want to do?
Yeah, I'd love to become a 2-time British champion. That's one of my goals. Obviously, the main goal is to become a world champion. I think that's everybody's dream when you're first getting into boxing. Obviously, it is hard. Obviously, not everybody does become a world champion. I know, but you got to set your goals high.
Yeah.
I always believe in setting your goals high and just going for it. Basically, just literally just going for it. Just putting everything aside and going for that main dream. So that is my main dream, to become a world champion. Whether I do it or I don't, I know I'll give it everything I've got to try and achieve that.
What was that moment like when you did get that British Championship? How did that feel? That must have been like years and years of training to that point. It must have felt pretty amazing.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable feeling. A lot of people were writing me off. A lot of people, close friends, were writing me off. Some of my friends backing against me to get stopped. A lot of people didn't really believe I would do it, but that's just because at the time nobody really seen me box. Didn't have no airtime. Wasn't getting promoted well by my promoter. So everybody think that Ted Cheeseman was going to meet me. There was only me and my coach and obviously my close family that really believed that I would get the job done. And my boxing coach, Craig Carney, he always said that he's got an amateur club as well, Phil Thomas School of Boxing. And we've had champions from schoolboys to juniors to youths to seniors. And he always said that he'd love to have a professional British champion. And I was his first pro that he started training, and I was his first British champion. So yeah, it was a great feeling.
Do you like proving people wrong? Do you like saying to your mates that backed against you in times like that? Do you like showing them that they were wrong?
Yeah, I've done it all my life, prove people wrong, because a lot of people wouldn't, like, a lot of people didn't think I'd become a boxer. A lot of people didn't think I'd do what I've done in life so far. Not saying I've done a lot, but a lot of people just obviously haven't believed in me since day dot. So yeah, I love proving people wrong, and I'm going to continue to do that as
Is,
the years go on.
is that a fuel?
Yeah, definitely fuels the fire. Yeah, definitely.
I think as well, like you're probably, you know, getting questions moving up to middleweight, right? Nobody's seen you at middleweight. Nobody knows what you're going to be like there. I'm sure there are doubters. I'm sure there are people questioning what you're going to do. Do you go back to that now then? Do you start thinking again about, proving those doubters wrong, proving that you belong at middleweight, and this could be the British champ run and then the world champ run?
Yeah, it will be as well. Like, I genuinely believe that this is my weight division. The fighters know. The fighters know exactly what I bring to the middleweight division. That's why nobody wants to fight. But yeah, like I say, I've got to prove it April the 5th, and then from then we move forward.
We're a couple of weeks out. We're speaking on the 20th of March. What happens from here till the 5th, Troy? What does your schedule look like?
Yeah, so we'll just finish this week, and then we've got one more hard week next week, and then we fly over to Vegas on March 29th and finish camp out there. Watch the weight, take the weight down, make weight, and then expect a dominant performance on April the 5th, Saturday night.
How does that fly and take it out of you? Does that change anything, or is it just another little thing to add into it, but it doesn't really make any difference?
Nah, it doesn't make no difference. We're flying out a full week before, so Saturday, Sunday's travel, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays to adjust, Thursday we'll have a little shakeout, Friday make weight, and come Saturday I'll be flying, ready to go.
And finally, Troy, like obviously we can't wait to have you another run through event in the future. I can't wait to see you put that hammer down again in the home straight, but from the start line as well.
I'm looking forward to the events to get announced for April, May. I asked the guy on, is it Matt? I asked him on Instagram to when he's announcing the dates, because I'll be looking forward to them, and you'll see me at a couple of more run-through events, definitely.
Yeah, man, I can't wait
Next time I do a half, I'll be breaking 120.
Yeah, you will, 100%, and you'll be breaking something else, I'm sure, on April 5th. Some bloke the other side of the ring. So if you're listening to this right now and you want to support Troy, make sure you go and do that on April the 5th. Go and follow his social pages as well. And Troy, where's the fight going to be? Where's it going to be shown if people want to see you?
Yeah, well, obviously the fight is in Palms Casino, Las Vegas. You can catch it on ESPN Plus, and possibly Sky Sports are going to be showing it. So yeah, tune in, because this is the return of the Trojan at 160. I'm coming for all.